Live from the 412, it's Platt's point of view, y'all. Let's go. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Platt, and this is Platt's point of view. And this is the 2023 NFL Draft Preview Show, y'all. We're going to talk about sleepers, every position, HBCU prospects, and more, man. And get well, Jim Frazier. He's supposed to be joining me today. Unfortunately, he's a little bit under the weather, and he couldn't join me today. So, get well, Jim Frazier, and we're gonna hold it down, baby. So let's get right into it. Quarterbacks. I think the 2023 quarterback class is better than last year's class. There are a few very, very talented quarterbacks that I think that could be long-term NFL starters. You know what I mean? So, we know about Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, but I want to talk about some of these other cats, some of these other dudes. How about Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, man? Deep ball accuracy is excellent. Watch the game against Alabama. The kid threw lasers. I think once he's fully recovered from the ACL injury, I think this kid can be a 7 to 10 year starter, 58 touchdowns, 5 enters in the last 2 years, very productive in the SEC. Somebody's gonna get a steal. Another guy I'm high on, man, I've been talking about this guy for the longest. Tyson Bagent, 4-year starter, Division II, destroyed the PSAC conference, total certified gunslinger, 159 touchdown passes, over 16,000 career passing yards. He had 41 touchdowns, 8 enters last season. I think he's going to be good. Like I told these guys recently, if he don't make it in the NFL, he has a career in the XFL, CFL, or USFL. And there's been a lot of talk about Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson. There's been a lot of talk about this dude, man. So, I think he's raw. You know what I mean? I think that I think the arm talent is excellent. The combine numbers were tremendous. But breaking his game down, I found 4 games where he completed under 50% of his passes. He looked awful against Florida State, man. But he was all world against Utah in the opener. So it's like, it's like it's 50-50 with me with this guy. But I think in 2 years, I think he can be a solid quality quarterback. Shoot, I wish he could have went to the USFL and played for a year. With only 13 career starts. He needed a little bit of seasoning, man. So we'll see what happens with Anthony Richardson. Let's move on to the running backs. I think this year's running back class is loaded with a bunch of potential starters and some major sleepers, I'm telling you. Start off with Bijan Robinson out of Texas. The kid is elite. Running back, he can do it all. He reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson. He can catch out the backfield. He can block the whole 9. I think this guy is going to have a tremendous career. I see multiple Pro Bowls. You also got Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. He's Marshawn Lynch 2.0. This guy runs violent if you've ever seen him play. He runs violent. That'll be another kid that a team could use. And how about my man, Tajay Spears out of Tulane, man. 5'11", 200 pounds, 4.4 speed. He was very productive this past season. I think he could be a good complementary running back. He's very elusive and explosive. I think he could be like a lightning to a team's thunder, a team with a bigger back. He could come in, change the pace. He's about 15, 16 carry type of guy. He didn't really get that much work catching the ball at the backfield, but I think he can help out in the receiving game too. Another running back I'm high on, and maybe I'm a homer, but I was blessed to see this guy play a lot, and I watched him evolve. I'm talking about Pitt running back Izzy Abanikanda, 5'11", 215 pounds, 4.3 speeds, former New York 100-meter champion coming out of high school, Gatorade New York Player of the Year, world-class track speed. This is an explosive running back who thrives running between the tackles. He has a low center of gravity. He runs hard. He got better in pass protection as his career went on. I think Izzy can be a every down back, 18 to 22 carry type guy. Whoever gets in there going to fall in love with Izzy, man. Izzy's hardcore, man. He's tough. Let's move on to the wide receivers. There's definitely no Randy Moss or Larry Fitzgerald in this class. So what? But I see a bunch of polished route runners and game-breaking wide receivers in this class. Start off Ohio State receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba, 6 feet, 195 pounds. Some say he's the best wide receiver in the draft. My guy, who I hope the Steelers pick, Jordan Addison. He dominated the ACC and the Pac-12. People still sleeping on him, which I don't understand. He's a very underrated punt returner. He's a technician out route running. He sets up D-backs. Man, this dude is explosive, man. I don't care about his size. I think he's going to be good. He has a long NFL career, so hopefully we'll see what happens with him. Another guy, Quentin Johnson, man. He's a big receiver, 6'3" out of TCU, big athletic game-breaking receiver. He just got to catch the ball a little bit more consistently. I like him too. Zay Flowers out of BC, 5'10", 180, 4.4 speed, explosive slot receiver. This kid could have transferred and left Boston College due to the lack of quarterback play, good quarterback play. He stayed. He didn't leave for NIL. He wrote it out at Boston College. I see a little bit of Antonio Brown and Zay Flowers. Also, man, you got Jalen Hyde out of Tennessee, 6 feet, 190, 4.3 speed. This guy could take the top off of a defense. He reminds me of Will Fuller when he was healthy, and Mike Wallace, man. I think he's that fast. He has that type of skill set. Sleeper guy, Nathaniel Tank Dale out of Houston, man. Kid's about 5'9", about 170. I think he runs about a 4.4. This guy's short, quick, elusive receiver. He can turn a quick bubble screen into a 50-yard game, man. Somebody's going to get Tank Dale out of Houston. He's tough. He kind of got a little bit of Tyreek Hill in him. So, yeah, that'll be another receiver, man, to keep an eye on. This kid, Josh Downs out of UNC, 5'10", 180, 4.4 speed, ideal slot receiver, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in the ACC. The Steelers love this guy. Very quick with long speed to outrun defenders. Former North Carolina quarterback Sam Howell said nobody works harder than Josh Downs. Hopefully he's Steeler Nation. Let's move on to the tight ends. Teams are always looking for that athlete with a basketball background, kind of like Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, and so on, Jimmy Graham. A receiving threat with post skills, soft hands, and a reliable red zone target. This tight end class is very interesting too. First off, you got Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. He's the man. 6'6", 250 pounds, 4'6", 4'7" speed, prototype NFL tight end. Solid blocker, excellent hands, very physical, makes a lot of contested catches. He's another one. He runs violent. They call him Baby Gronk. Michael Mayer is going to be a stud, man. Them Notre Dame tight ends, man, it seems like they just breed them every year. Another guy people sleeping on, Darnell Washington out of Georgia, man. This kid is 6'7", 260 pounds. He's built like a small forward. 4.6 speed, tall, athletic tight end. I think he has a lot of upside, and he's not a finished product. This next kid, is my favorite tight end in the draft. Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. 6'7", 240 pounds, 4.5 speed. He's a natural pass catcher. The kid reminds me of former Washington tight end Chris Cooley. He's versatile. I think he can line up in a slot, H-back, or he can flex out. Another guy, this is crazy. This guy has NFL bloodlines. Luke Musgrave, 6'6", 250 out of Oregon State. He's Bill Musgrave's nephew, I think. Fast, athletic tight end, creates separation. This is another guy that's going to be pretty good. I see Kyle Rudolph all in him. On to the offensive linemen. This year's O-line class has a lot of size, length, versatility, and athleticism to match up against some of the NFL's better pass rushers. Even some of the interior blockers in this class, they could play center, guard, some can even play tackle, so it's a lot of versatility. Number one on my list, and I hope the Steelers get this guy, hopefully he's around, offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. 6'7", 313 pounds out of Ohio State, long, athletic, tackle, excellent run blocker, franchise left tackle. I hope the Steelers get him. This guy mans up his side, and yeah, he holds his own. Another guy I like, Broderick Jones out of Georgia, 6'4", 315 pounds. Very good pass blocker. A lot of scouts say he can become the next Trent Williams. Also, you got Peter Skronsky, 6'4", 316 pounds out of Northwestern. They say his arms is short, whatever. I think he's elite. He's very nimble, like the guy he replaced, Rashawn Slater, the former offensive lineman who plays for the Chargers now. He's consistent, and I think Skronsky has a chance to be very special. Another guy I'm very high on, man. How about Darnell Wright out of Tennessee? 6'5", 345 pounds. He never let Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker get sacked. He's a former five-star recruit. He's a massive right tackle with size and strength. I like him. If you watch the Alabama game, he held his own against potential top 5 pick Will Anderson Jr. He was holding it down against him, man. Yeah. Next up, you got Cody Mock out of North Dakota State. 6'5", 305 pounds. If you see this guy, I swear he reminds me of Alex Faneca. He's a former walk-on at tight end, so he's athletic. He can play tackle or guard. He always gets a push. He's a first-team FCS All-American, 2 sacks. He allowed 2 sacks on 800 career pass blocking snaps. Now, that's awesome. 800 career snaps blocking, and he only gave up 2 sacks. Excellent. My guy on this list, though, I really like Connor Golden out of Baylor. 6'7", 296 pounds. He helped anchor that Baylor running attack for the last couple years. Versatile, durable, 4-star recruit, 50 career starts, second team Big 12. He has experience at right tackle and left tackle. You know what I mean? Whoever gets Connor Golden, they're going to be very happy. Another kid, Ricky Stromberg, 6'3", 308 pounds out of Arkansas, 4-year starter, played both guard spots and played center. He has tons of experience, man. He's another guy that can help out with a team that needs offensive line help. Let's move on to the D lineman. The 2023 defensive tackle D lineman class has a few guys with all-pro potential. I see a few guys on here that can be dominant and disruptive. Let's start with the most pulverizing guy of this class, Jalen Carter out of Georgia. 6'3", 310 pounds, mad talent with off-the-field issues. He's disruptive, versatile, high motor. I think he can play any technique from 1 to 5. You know what I mean? I think he can be a transcendent defensive tackle for a 300-pounder. The guy moves, man. He moves like he's 180. So, they got a couple red flags, the drunk driving incident or whatnot. But this kind of reminds me of Warren Sapp. They talked about Warren Sapp smoking marijuana, whatever, and you look at Warren Sapp's career, Super Bowl, Defensive Player of the Year, over 90 career sacks, Hall of Fame. So I think if Jalen Carter gets his head straight and he gets with the right coaching staff, I think he can be on that type of trajectory. I think that highly of Jalen Carter. Hopefully he falls to the Steelers, man. Go ahead and sleep if you want. Next up, I like Brian Breesy, 6'4", 305 pounds out of Clemson. This guy's a pure athlete, former basketball recruit. He moves very good for a 300-pounder. He just got to stay healthy. I mean, he's a quality starter. He tore his ACLs in his sophomore year, and he's just now starting to get back into form, but I see a bright future for Breesy. Another guy, 6'4", 310-pound, Wisconsin D tackle, nose tackle, Keanu Benton. This guy's huge. He's a load. Ideal nose tackle, shoots the gaps, wins in the trenches. He had a pretty good Senior Bowl too, man. Another kid, sleeper guy, Broderick Morton, man, out of Western Kentucky, 6'4", 334 pounds. He's quite the load. A straight space eater. He's impossible to move one-on-one. I'm telling you, man. This guy reminds me of Casey Hampton. Next up, we're going to go to the linebackers. There's a lot of linebackers, inside, outside. They're versatile. They got good instincts. A lot of these guys can tackle. I see a lot of day one starters in this class. Let's start with the one and only, man. Everybody's talking about him. Will Anderson out of Alabama, 6'3", 235, 4.5 speed, 34.5 career sacks. He finished first in tackles for loss, 180 quarterback pressures the last 3 years. When I see this guy, I think Khalil Mack. Yeah, I think he could be an 11 or 13 sack type guy every season. How about Tyree Wilson? 6'6", 265 out of Texas Tech, 36-inch arm length, very disruptive, high motor. Tyree Wilson, he's going to help a team out. Definitely. I like him too. Luke Van Ness too, man. 6'5 out of 274 out of Iowa. I think Van Ness can be like a Trey Hendrickson in the right system. He fires off the snap of the ball. He has nice closing speed to block punts. He has nice closing speed. He blocked 2 punts in his career. He can beat blockers off the edge. I think Van Ness is unique, man. Somebody's coaching staff is going to get him, and they're going to turn him into a monster. Sleeper, Keon White out of Georgia Tech, 6'5", 280. He's probably one of the most versatile athletic defenders in his class because he has size and athleticism. He can line up at outside linebacker, D tackle, D end, and a lot of teams, they covet that versatility. The kid is super strong. Whoever gets him, man, yeah, that's a nice chess piece, boy. Man, you could put him in sub package and, yeah, unleash him. I think he's going to be tough. Keon White out of Georgia Tech. As far as inside linebackers, my guy, Drew Sanders, man, 6'5", 230 pounds out of Arkansas. He's a solid all-around inside linebacker. He transferred from Alabama. The kid's speed is impressive. He probably has 1 year at inside linebacker, but he can play inside or outside. He can rush the passer. I think he could cover. Great sideline to sideline speed. Drew Sanders lays the pop. He laid the smackdown. He's coming, man. I think this guy is probably going to be one of the best linebackers in this class. Next up, my other guy, Jack Campbell, 6'4", 250 out of Iowa. This old school middle linebacker reminds me of Luke Kuechly so much. And I know one thing, when Jack Campbell hits you, you go down, period. He landed smackdown, pow, he's hitting you and you're going down. So yeah, he brings that thumpness. He plays with an edge, a little nasty, and I like him too. He reminds me of Luke Kuechly a lot. Also, man, how about Trenton Simpson? Out of Clemson, 6'3", 230, 4'5". He played inside linebacker and outside linebacker. He plays fast, he hits hard, he's a pure 3-down linebacker. A lot of people had him rated as the top linebacker. I think he's gonna have a quality NFL career too. This kid next though, he's my favorite. Deion Henley out of Washington State, 6'1", 230, 4'5" speed, athletic 3-down middle linebacker. He's a former wide receiver. He can cover. He has pure sideline to sideline speed. Like I said, he's a former wide receiver. So, you know, the versatility is there. He can cover in a slot, tight ends, and so on. He's another one, man. I think he can be a definitely quality linebacker at the NFL level. Let's move on to the cornerbacks. This cornerback class has a lot of ball hawks with good playmaking ability and cover skills. My favorite, Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State. 6 feet, 170 pounds, 4.3 speed, excellent pre-snap play recognition. 14 career enters, which he returned 6 of those for touchdowns. That's an NCAA record. He don't mind coming up to tackle, man. Kind of reminds me of Xavier Howard, hawk cover skills. Yes, this guy's going to be tough, man. He kind of, like I said, he reminds me of Xavier Howard, a little bit of Samari Rolle. He's a ball hawk, gambles like Marcus Peters. I hope the Steelers get him. I love ball production corners, and Emmanuel Forbes is that guy. Next up, Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. 6'1", 200 pounds, very talented cornerback, transferred from Colorado. He's athletic, 41-inch vertical, 4.3 speed. He didn't have no enters at Colorado, but he had 4 this past season at Oregon. He's a ball hawk, kind of puts me in the mode of Stephon Gilmore. This is another guy everybody's talking about. Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State. 6'2", 200 pounds, 4.4 speed. I think he's an excellent press corner. He gave up 0 touchdowns last season. Long, very aggressive, athletic corner. People complain about the ball production, but that means nobody threw to his side because he was doing his job. Joey Porter Jr., I see Pro Bowl. Hopefully he comes to the Steelers. He got that NFL bloodline with his dad. I think this boy is going to be coming in. He's going to be angry. He's going to be hungry. And he's going to show a lot of people that he's ready. Also, how about Devin Witherspoon, man, out of Illinois? 5'11", 188, 4.3 speed. He's a fast, aggressive, hard-hitting corner. Seems like he just play fast. You check him out. Oh, my God, the kid's amazing. He's going to help out the team, too. And last but not least, man, how about Kelly Ringo out of Georgia? 6'2", 210. He's built like a damn linebacker, but he has 4.4 speed. He's very athletic. He has good size, speed, and athleticism. He's probably one of the best athletes in this draft. Let's move on to the safeties. The 2023 safety class has a ton of versatile hybrid defenders that can line up at cornerback, nickelback, and cover in a slot. You start off with Alabama safety Brian Branch. He's about 6 feet, 190, 4.4 speed. Out of Alabama, like I said, I think he's the perfect hybrid safety linebacker. I like him a lot. But my favorite, Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M. 6'3", 195 pounds, 4.4 speed, versatile hard-hitting safety, has size and athleticism. He can cover wideouts, tight ends, out of run people out of the backfield. He can blitz. I think he's the ultimate safety for today's NFL, man. With the passing league, I like him a lot. And he's going to lay the smackdown on you, come up and cover, and he'll let you know. I think whoever get this kid, yes, they are getting a star. Antonio Johnson is tough, man. Also, got Sidney Brown out of Illinois. He helped anchor that secondary with Witherspoon and them. He's a good safety. I like him too. Jared Brown, 10 career enters out of Penn State, former junior college transfer. I think he could be a serviceable player for a team. And then there's a sleeper, man. You got Pitt safety Brandon Hill, 5'11", 190, 4.4 speed. He was the fastest safety at the NFL Combine. And aggressive, good tackler, sleeper. The kid loves to hit, and I know he likes football. Brandon Hill, man, I hope it worked out for you. Next up, how about some HBCU prospects, man? So last year, 4 players from HBCU schools were drafted. This 2023 HBCU class is loaded with is deep, with a lot of talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Here's a few prospects just to keep an eye on. You got outside linebacker DN Isaiah Land out of Florida A&M. I love this guy a lot. 6'3", 235, 4 fast speed, 27 sacks over the last 2 seasons, 19 sacks in 2021. He a lot of potential, FCS Defensive Player of the Year, nonstop motor. I think he could come in and be a good rotational pass rusher for a team. Next up, how about Joshua Pryor, man? 6'4", 240, defensive end, outside linebacker out of Bowie State. Shout out to Pitts and Push, man. They covered Bowie State. He told me about this guy at the beginning of the season, and I've been on him ever since, and I like him a lot. You know what I mean? He had an excellent HBCU combine, and he had a good HBCU Legacy Bowl. The kid played 3 technique and 5 technique, but I think he's best suited to be a pass rusher. 32 career sacks. Yeah, he's tough, man, definitely. Next up, Xavier Smith, the wide receiver out of Florida A&M. 5'10", 180 pounds, 4.3 speed. He's excellent running after the catch. He was the MVP of the Legacy Bowl. He has good punt return ability, over 1,000 receiving yards, and he averaged 8 catches a game, which led all HBCU receivers. Xavier Smith is going to be tough, man. I kind of see a little bit of Tyler Lockett in that guy. I like him. Another kid, this is one of Primetime's gems. Isaiah Bolden, cornerback safety from Jackson State. 6'2", 200 pounds, 4.4 speed, good man-to-man cover skills, excellent returner. He averaged 37 yards per kick return, which led the nation. He had 2 kick return touchdowns. Keep an eye on him, man. And how about Keenan Isaac out of Alabama State? 6'2", 185 pounds. Cornerback, 4.4 speed, solid cover corner, size and athleticism. The kid is a former high school basketball star. He averaged 18 points and 8 rebounds in high school. So next up, how about day 3 gems, man? It's been some day 3 players that have blossomed into quality, solid NFL players and all pros. Tyreek Hill and Bills middle linebacker Matt Milano are just a couple names that I just thought of right offhand. But one guy that I really like, quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson, a.k.a. DTR out of UCLA. 6'2", 205 pounds, 4.6 speed. Last season, check this out, he was one of 2 quarterbacks that had 25 touchdown passes and 10 rushing touchdowns. And he threw for over 10,000 passing yards in his career. I like DTR. I think he has a good arm. I think people sleep in him. And I think DTR could be a good developmental quarterback. Next up, how about offensive tackle Blake Freeland out of BYU? 6'8", 305 pounds. Nobody's talking about this versatile, athletic offensive lineman. He has a 36-inch vertical, 4.9 speed. He has experience at right tackle, left tackle. He has all the tools to be an elite offensive lineman, definitely. Next up, wide receiver Shaq Davis out of South Carolina State. 6'5", 182 pounds, 4.5 speed. He's a jump ball specialist, makes people miss. He can return kicks. First team HBCU All-American, 22 yards per catch, which led all FCS. He also led the MEAC conference in receiving yards, over 900 yards, 11 touchdowns this past season. We got some more sleepers too, man. How about Wide receiver Rashee Rice out of SMU. 6'2", 195 pounds, 4.5 speed. Excellent ball skills, pardon me. Got to be more consistent. Seems like every time you look up, SMU got good receivers, man. Emmanuel Sanders, Danny Gray, Cortland Sutton. Now this kid, SMU, they is like a receiver factory. Next, you got tight end Davis Allen out of Clemson. 6'6", 250 pounds, 4.7 speed. He's a 2-year starter, good route runner, 38-inch vertical, 12 career touchdowns. He's a red zone threat. Nobody's talking about him. It's cool, though. Next up, you got D lineman Habakkuk Baldonado out of Pitt. 6'4", 255. I was blessed to see this guy play for the last 3 years. I watched him develop. Yes, he explodes off the ball. Good run stopper. Man, some scouts be trying to say his motor, he lacks a motor. I beg to differ. I think he could be a good rotational defensive line prospect. Yes, Baldonado, yeah, he'd probably be a late round pick. So who are the Steelers going to pick at 17 and at 32? I'm going to go out on a limb. I think with the 17th pick, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to take either Joey Porter Jr. or maybe Emmanuel Forbes. Pick 32, I'm thinking more or less probably a wide receiver. I'm hoping Jordan Addison. But if not, well, I'll take Josh Downs, Zay Flowers, hopefully. And I got 5 players from this draft that I think are going to be quality NFL players. Not saying they're going to be all world, but I think they're not going to be like busts. Number 1, I got Jordan Addison, wide receiver, Pitt, USC. We talked about him already. I think he's going to have a productive NFL career. My other guy, tight end Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. I think he's a matchup nightmare. Like I said, reminds me of Chris Cooley. Dalton Kincaid is going to be tough. Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas. I think he's all-world. Reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson. He's going to be tough. Hendon Hooker, quarterback, former Virginia Tech transfer. Tennessee dominated the SEC. I think Hendon Hooker is a sleeper. He's going to shock a lot of people once he's healthy. And outside linebacker Will Anderson Jr. out of Alabama. Like I said, he's 11 and 13 sack type of guy. I see Khalil Mack all in him. An honorable mention, man, I got to bring him back up. Izzy Abanikanda. I think he's going to be a starter. People sleeping. I like him a lot, man. I think the guy's tough as nails. I think people sleeping at world-class speed he has. He's going to open up a lot of eyes in the NFL. So thanks for joining me on this NFL Draft Preview Show. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
CJ on the